If you don't own assets, you will never be rich. You'll work your whole life, save a little, and still struggle financially. Meanwhile, the rich, they quietly collect assets that grow their money while they sleep. In this video, I'll show you 15 powerful assets that can make you rich, and you'll be shocked at how many people ignore number 7. 1. Rental properties. All right, let's talk about real estate. Probably the most well-known way to build wealth, but a lot of people assume it's only for the rich. That's not true. Think of it like this. If you own a house and rent it out, someone else is basically paying your mortgage for you. Over time, the property value tends to go up, and you're collecting rent every month. It's like planting a money tree, except instead of watering it, you just make sure the tenants don't trash the place. For example, let's say you buy a small apartment for $100,000 with a low down payment and finance the rest. You rent it out for $1,200 per month, and after paying the mortgage, taxes, and maintenance, you still keep a few $100s every month. That's money you didn't have to work for. And in 10 to 15 years, the property could be worth double what you paid. Of course, it's not completely passive. Things break, tenants move out. But over the long run, real estate has created more millionaires than almost any other asset. And the best part? You don't need to buy a mansion to start. Many people get their first rental by just house hacking, buying a small multi-unit property, living in one part, and renting out the other. That way, your tenants cover most or all of your housing costs. Second, index funds and ETFs. Imagine you want to invest in the stock market, but you don't want to spend hours researching companies, reading financial reports, or stressing over stock prices every day. That's where index funds and ETFs come in. Think of an index fund like a giant basket filled with hundreds of different stocks. Instead of betting on just one company, you're spreading your money across a bunch of them. One of the most popular ones is the S&P 500, which includes 500 of the biggest companies in the US. Think Apple, Google, Amazon, and all those giants. Here's why this is a smart move. Over the past few decades, the S&P 500 has averaged around 10% returns per year. That means if you just put your money in and left it alone, it would have grown way more than if you tried picking stocks yourself. Because fun fact, most professional traders don't even beat the market. And ETFs, exchange-traded funds, work the same way, except they trade like regular stocks. So if you want a simple way to invest without all the hassle, index funds and ETFs are basically the set it and forget it option for growing your money over time. 3 REITs, real estate investment trusts. All right, let's say you like the idea of making money from real estate, but you don't want to deal with tenants, maintenance, or a huge down payment. That's where REITs come in. A REIT, real estate investment trust, is basically a company that owns a bunch of properties like shopping malls, office buildings, or apartment complexes, and rents them out to businesses or people. When they make money from rent, they share a portion of that profit with investors in the form of dividends. Think of it like owning a tiny slice of a giant skyscraper, without ever having to buy the building or fix a leaking roof. You can invest in REITs just like buying a stock, and they often pay consistent cash flow since they're legally required to distribute most of their earnings to investors. So if you want to get into real estate without the headaches of actually being a landlord, REITs let you do just that with as little as a few bucks. 4th, dividend stocks. All right, let's talk about dividend stocks, which are basically stocks that pay you for doing nothing. Here's how it works. When you buy a stock, you usually make money only if the price goes up and you sell it later. But some companies, especially big, stable ones like Coca-Cola, McDonald's, and Johnson & Johnson, actually pay their investors a cut of their profits every few months. This is called a dividend. Think of it like owning a small piece of a business that sends you a paycheck just for holding onto their stock. You're not working for them, you're not doing anything, just collecting money while they keep running their business. For example, if a company pays a 5% dividend, that means for every $100 you invest, you get $5 per year, no matter what happens to the stock price. And if you reinvest those dividends, your money starts compounding over time, kind of like a snowball rolling downhill and getting bigger. So if you like the idea of getting paid without selling your investments, Dividend stocks might be one of the easiest ways to build a steady stream of income over time. 5. Private equity and startups. So you've probably heard stories of early investors in companies like Amazon or Uber making ridiculous amounts of money. That's private equity and startup investing in action. Instead of buying stocks in big established companies, some people invest in small, early-stage businesses before they become huge. It's kind of like being a talent scout, except instead of picking future sports stars, you're betting on future billion-dollar companies. Let's say your friend is launching a new tech startup and needs funding. If you invest $5,000 early on and the company takes off, that small stake could be worth hundreds of thousands or even millions down the road. Of course, startups are risky, many fail, but one big win can make up for a bunch of losses. The catch? You usually need a high net worth or industry connections to get into the best deals. But with crowdfunding platforms popping up, even regular investors can now own a small piece of promising startups without needing millions up front. It's not a quick path to riches, but if you have patience and a good eye for spotting winners, startup investing can be a game changer. 6. Websites and digital assets. Think about your favorite website or blog. Ever wonder how they make money? It's usually through ads, affiliate links, or selling products. And the best part? Once it's set up, a website can keep making money even while you sleep. For example, let's say you start a simple blog about fitness. You write helpful articles, and over time, people start visiting your site. Now you can place ads that pay you every time someone clicks. You can also add affiliate links. So if you recommend a protein powder and someone buys it through your link, you get a small commission. Or maybe you sell a digital product, like an ebook or an online course. Once it's created, there's no inventory, no shipping, just pure profit every time someone buys. Some people even buy and flip websites just like real estate. They find small, underdeveloped websites, improve them, and sell them for a huge profit later. So whether you're writing, selling, or just setting up a website that runs itself, digital assets can be a great way to create passive income with way fewer headaches than traditional businesses. 7. Personal brand. Let's talk about something most people completely overlook. Your personal brand. Now, before you roll your eyes, think about this. Your name, your skills, and your experiences are all assets. If you package them the right way, you can turn them into something that makes money for years. Take YouTube, for example. Let's say you're really good at fixing cars, cooking, or managing money. If you start sharing that knowledge through videos, a blog, or even social media, people will start paying attention. And once you have an audience, brands will pay you to promote products, companies will sponsor your content, and you can even sell your own courses or coaching. Look at someone like Mr. Beast. He built his entire empire just by creating videos. Or finance YouTubers who started with basic money advice and now make millions through sponsorships, books, and speaking gigs. The crazy part? Most people ignore this. They think, why would anyone care what I have to say? But the truth is, everyone has something valuable to share, whether it's skills, experiences, or just an interesting way of explaining things. And the best part? Unlike real estate or stocks, building a personal brand costs almost nothing, just time and consistency. If you put yourself out there, you never know what opportunities could come your way. 8. Intellectual property. Think about a book. An author writes it once, but every time someone buys a copy, they get paid. Same thing with an online course. You record it once, put it up for sale, and people can keep buying it without you having to do anything extra. Or take patents and licenses. If you invent something or create a unique design, companies might pay you to use it. Ever heard of the guy who invented the fidget spinner? For a while, he was making money every time a company sold one. The best part? Once it's made, it keeps working for you. No need to trade your time for money anymore. It's like setting up a vending machine. Fill it with good stuff, and it'll keep paying you back over time. 9. Luxury and collectible assets. Let's talk about luxury and collectible assets. Things like rare watches, classic cars, and fine art that can actually grow in value over time. Think of it like this. A brand new car loses value the moment you drive it off the lot. But a 1960s Ferrari? That thing could be worth millions today. Same goes for a Rolex or a limited edition painting. Some collectibles appreciate faster than stocks because they're rare, and demand keeps going up. It's kind of like owning a piece of history. Rich people buy these things not just because they look cool, but because they know someone down the line will pay even more for them. Of course, not every watch or car becomes valuable, but if you know what to look for, these assets can be way more than just expensive toys. 10. Farmland and agricultural investments. Land is limited, but the world's population keeps growing. And no matter what happens with the economy, people will always need food. That's why farmland can be such a solid investment. It produces something essential. Think about it like this. If you own a piece of farmland, you can rent it out to farmers, grow and sell crops, or even invest in agricultural businesses. And since food prices tend to go up over time, farmland values usually rise too. It's not flashy like stocks or crypto, but big investors and even billionaires like Bill Gates have been quietly buying up farmland for years. Why? Because it's a long-term play that can keep making money year after year without relying on trends or hype. 11th, crypto and blockchain assets. All right, let's talk crypto and blockchain, one of the most debated investments out there. Some people swear it's the future, others think it's just hype. But here's what we do know. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other crypto assets have made a lot of people rich. Think of Bitcoin like digital gold. There's a limited amount, and people see it as a way to store value. Ethereum, on the other hand, is more like the foundation for apps and smart contracts that could change how businesses work. It's kind of like the early days of the internet, back when people were still figuring out what it could do. Now, crypto isn't all smooth sailing. It's volatile and still developing. But the bigger picture? Blockchain technology is here to stay. It's being used for things like secure transactions, decentralized finance, DeFi, and even digital art, NFTs. Whether you invest or not, it's worth paying attention to, because we might be watching the early days of something huge. 12th, precious metals, gold and silver. Think of gold like a financial safety net. When the economy crashes, inflation spikes, or currencies lose value, people rush to gold because it's something tangible that holds its worth. It's why central banks and rich investors always keep some in their portfolio. Silver works the same way, but it also has industrial uses. It's in electronics, solar panels, and medical equipment. So while it's not as famous as gold, demand for silver keeps growing. Now, unlike stocks, gold and silver don't pay dividends or generate income. But when everything else is shaky, they tend to hold strong, which is why they're often called a hedge against inflation. 13. Vending machines and ATMs. You've probably bought a snack from a vending machine or used an ATM at some point. But have you ever thought about who owns them? It's usually not a big company. It's regular people who set them up in busy locations and collect the cash. A vending machine selling drinks and snacks can make hundreds or even thousands a month if it's in the right spot, like a school, gym, or office building. And the work? Restock it, collect the money, and that's it. ATMs work the same way. You place them in high traffic areas, and every time someone withdraws cash, you get a small fee. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme, but once you set it up, it's low maintenance. Kind of like a money-making robot that runs on its own. 14th, e-commerce and digital products. Ever noticed how you can buy almost anything online these days? Clothes, gadgets, even digital guides or courses. The best part? You don't even need to own a physical store or stock inventory to get in on this. With Amazon FBA, you send products to Amazon's warehouse and they handle shipping for you. Drop shipping is even simpler. You list products in an online store, and when someone buys, the supplier ships it directly to them. And then there's digital products, things like ebooks, courses, or design templates. You create them once, and they can sell forever with almost zero cost. It's basically leveraging the internet to sell stuff, whether it's physical or digital, and with the right approach, it can turn into a serious income stream without needing a traditional storefront. 15th, business ownership and franchises. When you work a 9-to-5 job, you trade your time for money. There's a limit to how much you can earn because there are only so many hours in a day. But when you own a business, your income isn't tied to your time. It's tied to how well the business runs. Now, starting a business from scratch takes effort, but there's also a shortcut: franchises. Instead of figuring everything out yourself, you buy into a proven business model. Think McDonald's, Subway, or 7-Eleven. The brand is already built, and you just have to run it well. Either way, whether it's your own idea or a franchise, business ownership puts you in control. And while it comes with risks, the upside, there's no income ceiling. Of all these assets, the most underrated one is number 7, your personal brand. Think about it. Every millionaire and billionaire today has leveraged their personal brand in some way. Whether it's Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, or Jeff Bezos, their names alone hold immense value. Most people ignore this because they think I'm not famous. But in today's digital world, anyone can build an audience and monetize their knowledge. Start a YouTube channel, a newsletter, or a blog. It's one of the cheapest and highest ROI assets you can ever own. We just covered 15 assets that can make you rich. But the key takeaway is this: wealth isn't built by saving, it's built by owning the right things. If you start focusing on these assets today, you'll be ahead of 99% of people still stuck in the paycheck cycle. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these assets do you already own, and which one are you planning to invest in next? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to dive deeper into financial strategies that the rich use, watch this next video right here. It's a must-see. See you in the next one.